Why backup contracts work. A real story from Decatur. Some of the happiest buyers I've ever worked with got the house only after losing it the first time. And honestly, this is exactly why I push so hard for strong backup contracts when the situation makes sense. A while back, we were helping clients who completely fell in love with a house in Decatur. It's a town here in Metro Atlanta. It was a beautiful setting with mature trees on a quiet street. There was tons of character. It was the kind of property buyers emotionally attach themselves to almost immediately. And unfortunately, after a multiple offer contest, they lost. Another buyer's offer was accepted first. Most buyers in this situation just kind of emotionally try to move on at that point because they just assume that the deal is over, and it kind of hurts, it really does. And you just have to take a breath and move on. But you know, one thing I've learned after years in this business is that a surprising number of those first contracts fall completely apart during that buyer's due diligence period, especially when a property has something unusual about it that inexperienced buyers may not fully understand up front, okay? In this case, the property had a stream in front. And from experience working in Decatur and next to streams and rivers and lakes, I had a pretty strong suspicion that there was likely what we call a riparian buffer or stream buffer affecting the property. So a stream buffer or a riparian buffer is essentially a protected area around streams and rivers and bodies of water that can limit future expansion or development. So in practical terms, it can affect whether somebody can build an addition later, push further into the backyard, or expand the footprint of the house at all. Now, that was not necessarily a problem for our clients. They loved the house largely as it already existed, and they already knew about this. We explored this fully and what the complications may arise and what they could do. But I also knew there was a decent chance that primary buyers either did not fully understand the implications yet, or might become kind of uncomfortable once they dug a little deeper during their due diligence period. So instead of emotionally walking away, we repositioned. I pushed hard to get them to secure a first position backup status. That put our clients in the strongest possible position if the first deal collapsed, because backup contracts are not just casual conversations or one of those, we'll call you if something changes kind of thing. A properly executed backup contract allows buyers to step directly into the primary position immediately if that first contract falls apart. And sure enough, during the first buyer's due diligence, they discovered the stream buffer issue and became uncomfortable with the limitations around future additions to this property. They found out that there was a 75-foot buffer from the edge of the stream, and it encompassed the entire house and actually went into the backyard. So you couldn't really expand the house at all. And unfortunately, they were surprised by this about 6 days into their contract. And guess what they did? They terminated. And just like that, our clients became the primary buyers. I still remember the phone call that I gave them. The emotional swing from disappointment to excitement was huge. They were thrilled. They actually really couldn't believe it. It took a couple of hours for it to sink in and for them to really believe we are the buyers now. There was definitely champagne involved that night. And recently, they did officially close on that house they originally thought they had lost forever. So honestly, situations like this are exactly why I tell my buyers not to necessarily emotionally disappear after losing a multiple offer situation. Sometimes the accepted offer is not the one that actually makes it to the closing table. A backup contract can quietly become the smartest position in the entire negotiation if you understand the risks surrounding the property and know how to position yourself correctly. And from the seller side, backup contracts are incredibly valuable too, because if the primary buyer walks away, the seller avoids losing momentum. They don't have to go back on the market, all right, and start the process all over from zero. Everybody and everything stays in motion. So if you're trying to buy in Metro Atlanta and you keep finding yourself frustrated after losing homes in multiple offer situations, call or text me directly at 404-906-5857. Or go to robsmith.com and click buy. Answer a few questions there. My team and I will help you build strategies that go beyond simply trying to win the first round. Sometimes the smartest move in real estate is staying close enough to the deal for another opportunity to open up.